Dorchester's only hyperlocal podcast with news, content, and analysis. I am excited today to be joined by Seth Daniel.
Yeah, it's great to be here.
It's good to have you, Seth.
See you,
I think you must have watched last week's show and saw that Bill brought relics, and then you wanted to knock him off the relic train with your relics.
Well, I think we both have a little museum we're compiling.
I bet both of your respective wives love that. So you've got some relics. Let's hear it.
Yes, I've come bearing gifts as usual. Today's topic is what you find when you decide to clean and paint your radiator.
Oh, you painted your radiator. Nice.
I did many years ago. This is probably 20 years ago.
Okay.
So before you paint a radiator, you paint it silver usually. I don't know why.
I painted mine white.
Did you? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, everybody, it's got to be that paint that's like the high heat paint.
Yeah.
And I think whatever it is, it's usually in silver, but I'm going to look for white because I'd rather have white. But in any case, you got to clean it first, which I did. And what came out was kind of surprising, aside from the dirt and other things that gather over years. In a rusty radiator, I found the first thing was this matchbook.
Okay.
This is from Paragon Park, which was on Nantasket Beach in Hull. This was the place to go.
Is it like an amusement park?
It is an amusement park. World's largest roller coaster, only 18 miles from Boston.
That's very cool.
Yes.
And there's still matches in it?
No, those...
So somebody got sick of his matchbook being empty and just tossed it in the radiator.
Yeah, it's probably smoking in the house, Lit one up, threw it out,
I really wish that we still had some of those old school amusement parks around. There's only a few left in the country.
Yeah, no, it was Revere and Nantasket Beach. Revere Beach, Nantasket Beach, that's where the masses went. And, it was the working man's weekend. And this roller coaster is actually kind of interesting. There was a Globe article about it. So it was called the Wild One. It was the world's largest. This is probably from the 50s. Could be the 40s, sometime after World War II.
Okay.
It could even be the 60s. But it was quite a roller coaster. And
did you ride it?
I did not ride it.
Okay.
No, it predates me.
Okay.
But it still exists. So when Paragon Park closed in the 80s, it went to Six Flags in Maryland, where it has existed for quite a while. That park has seen better days as well, and it's closing down in November, and the roller coaster will close with it.
Oh, they're not going to move it again?
Nobody knows, but I would hope not.
Is it wooden? It's wooden, probably.
Yeah, and it's a little dangerous. It reports that even after it was rebuilt, it was rough. I think in the old days, they tolerated a lot more.
I mean, the car rides were probably rougher back then.
Yeah, going to Paragon Park was not as easy as it is now. And then the other thing that I found is maybe a little more recent. I'm guessing probably the late 90s. And this is a bus to bus transfer, valid only on April 1st. When? We don't exactly know. But somebody was taking the 23, and they probably needed to get on the 16.
Can you imagine? I mean, you lived
had
here.
To have that.
I didn't
Otherwise,
live
you had
here,
to pay again.
I could not imagine having to deal with this today.
Well, you had to ask the driver for it, and sometimes the driver wouldn't do it, or if you were a kid, going to school, they just shut up and get out of here. It's like then you had to pay again.
So you would get on the bus and ride to your place, and then as you're exiting, you would ask for a transfer?
Yeah,
oh my
transfer,
gosh.
please. You'd have to say that. Yeah,
and they would have to get out their pen and no way.
And then they would collect them, and I mean, where did all these go? You wonder. In
the radiator.
So those are the two things I found, and it's when you're in an old house in Dorchester, you can find a lot of odd stuff when you start going cleaning or renovating or any other thing.
I typically don't keep them.
I don't either, but these two things, they ended up in a drawer, and there they are.
My friends bought a place in Hyde Park, and they found a box of extremely old condoms.
Oh,
yeah, wedged in the wall somewhere.
God. Probably some teenager.
Who knows? It was they were old, in a tin. Yeah,
oh, a tin.
20s Yeah. Yeah.
Wow, I didn't even know.
I know the things you don't know.
That's true. Wow.
Well, before we get into the news, I'm really glad you're here.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
not only are you a delight, but Bill is terrible at football. He's getting better. He's trying.
He watches a lot of football. I don't know.
He watches a lot of college football.
Well, so do I, but I watch both.
Okay, so
and even some high school. So I can talk.
You're a Pats fan.
I am a Pats fan. I
You
watch
must
the
be
game.
feeling pretty good this week.
Well, it's so up and down. It's like this roller coaster here. It's the Raiders.
Rickety.
I mean, the Raiders are no good. Why did they lose to the Raiders? But then they blow out last week. And
Carolina, though. Carolina's terrible.
They are terrible, but still, it was a commanding performance. And so they blew out a bad team, which is what you want to see.
Yeah.
And they didn't look good at first, so they really had to kind of, buckle up and get themselves back on firm ground, and then they played really well. I really liked what I saw from Stephon Diggs, the receiver. Yeah, I know. Let's not judge him morally, but he can catch a ball.
Well, he was from Buffalo, and he left in dramatic fashion as he does. And
right. Oh, you're talking about why he left football.
Yeah. Well, and all the other things that are going on with Steph Diggs right now, which I think he's falling off a train.
Yeah, but he can catch the ball.
He sure can. He always has been able to.
Yeah, Drake May, I mean, he looked really good. Every pass was pinpoint. I really liked the one where he it was only a 5-yard pass, but he wove it through like 3 people into Hunter Henry's hands. I don't know if you saw that.
I did not see that. I was actually watching the Bills-Saints game.
Yeah, that was a good game too.
Although wasn't a blowout.
No, it wasn't a blowout. No. I think the Bills had more trouble with them than they should have. But
yeah, agreed.
That's kind of like every Bills game. It's like, they're never going to win this game. And then all of a sudden they win. And,
by 3 scores. And you're like, how did that happen? This whole game was close.
I took a nap and now they're winning.
I don't take naps. I just pace.
Yeah. I know that feeling. So, yeah, I mean, the football season's kicked off well.
Well, you know who's playing New England next week?
The Bills?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
In Buffalo.
I don't have high hopes for the Pats on that one. I mean, it's just Josh Allen he's just too good. I don't know if our defense can hold him in. I mean, I still remember the time when he had such a bad game in Buffalo against the Patriots that they said he should. I mean, the guy Zolak said he's got to give up.
Give up?
He's horrible. This is the worst performance I've ever seen. This kid cannot throw the ball. And then next year.
Yeah. Now
we wish we had him.
Well, I think Drake is good. I think he's still learning. I think Josh knows Steph Diggs, so that helps because
that's true.
The team
How's
knows Steph
work?
Diggs. Yeah. So hopefully that will. Yeah. They'll be able to shut him down.
They got some good receivers in the stable there. Maybe some others can step up for the Pats. I mean, you'd like to see a competitive game. I'm sure you would like to see a blowout. I want to see something that's going to keep me awake on a Sunday afternoon. Right?
It's cool because the Bills are wearing their rivalries jerseys for this game.
What do they look like?
They are whiteout jerseys, all white, and they've got this silver buffalo on and then it says Bills Mafia on the collar. It's very
really
cool. Yeah, it's very cool.
Wow. Uniforms have definitely gotten much more of an enterprise. Every game is kind of different, especially in college. That's way off the charts. But even the NFL now, I think it probably generates some excitement and certainly some cash.
Money, yep.
Got to get that jersey.
Before we leave this topic or the topic of sports, you did watch the Sox game.
I did last night.
I didn't.
You didn't?
Nah.
Well, I can sympathize. Baseball really got boring for a while, but I have to say they have made it so much better. They have a clock now, so the game really moves along.
Pitch clock, right?
Yeah, and even between innings, even when they put in a new pitcher. I mean, I've been to several games this year after not having gone for a long time.
Yeah.
And I have to say, it moved along. And some of them are on a weeknight. And if you went to a Sox game on the weeknight, you could be there. I mean, you might not get home till midnight, and that's hopefully. But it wasn't like that. I think we were home by 9 o'clock.
I've never heard of that before.
Yeah, wow. I think it moves along.
It's like a 2-hour game.
Yeah, last night's game was 2 hours and 15 minutes.
Wow!
And it was packed full of action. It was a really good game. The Red Sox have no business being in the playoffs because they started so terribly. They've turned it around and they beat the Yankees.
Always nice.
Yeah, at Yankee Stadium, you saw Yankee fans, especially the kids, crying, which Red Sox fans love that. Yeah, I didn't mind it. But the last inning was great. So you had the bases loaded. It was 3-1. There were no outs. Their ace, Chapman, was on the mound. He was supposed to be the ace. But he loaded the bases, and it looked like the same old story again.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden he discovered how hard he can throw. And he did. And it was like 100 miles an hour every pitch or more.
And struck them out?
He struck out 3 players right in a row, and
that's wild.
they all stood on the base. Well, he struck 2 out.
With bases loaded.
Bases loaded. Struck 2 out, and one was a weak fly ball that they couldn't score on.
That's crazy.
And the Red Sox won, and the Yankees were sitting there with their hands on their head.
You don't lose that game. Oof.
At home. They were at home.
So is that 1-0 in the series?
It is. That's the first playoff game. So this is the wild card.
Is it best of 5 or best of 7?
3.
Best of 3.
Best
wow.
of 3.
Man, I don't know baseball. Mm-hmm. Embarrassing myself.
Things have changed. I mean, they change the rules all the time on the playoffs. In the old days, it was, just you were lucky to make the playoffs. You could be a really good team, and then it was over.
Yeah. Yeah. They have the robot umpires now, too, don't they? Or some...
No, but they do on TV. On TV, they show all the mistakes, It's... I don't know. I think the real umpires do a pretty good job. They do review, like football. They do review, like
scoring plays and stuff.
Yeah, safe at first, out.
Right.
You can challenge it.
And
that's
a
good
good
thing. Yeah, it is, and it hasn't slowed the game down.
I like that with football. I think that really...
It does.
There's so many bad calls sometimes, and
Yeah, no, there were some that in the playoffs I can remember many years ago that before they brought it in, I think it was Houston. They had a team at the time, the Oilers.
Yeah.
Do you remember the Oilers?
I do remember the Oilers.
And
we had our biggest comeback in the Bills' history against the Oilers in the playoffs.
Wow.
Back in 91.
Wow, look at this memory. Yeah, I don't even remember that. But they caught a touchdown pass that was ruled not a touchdown. It was in the playoffs, I believe. Or it was a very critical game. And that's when they said, you got to have a review. And they did. I think it's better. I think it's way better.
I agree.
Football and baseball.
Well, thanks for joining Life Sports. We'll see you next week. Oh, no, we've got to do the news.
Yes. We're here for a different reason.
So we're going to talk about a few topics. The main one is around Codman Square and what's going on with the businesses in Codman Square. We've got some great news coming out of UMass, our neighbors down
Boston.
Down Morrissey here. And a little update on some folks making some moves. So you want to start with Codman? This was your big story this week.
Yeah, I've been watching this for a long time. So the storefronts, the story is basically about the storefronts being vacant. There's a lot of them. I mean,
so many.
Yeah, I mean, and it's even some of them are really like crass. They're boarded up. And they've been boarded up for a while, and people loiter. You see people setting up chairs with nips, with little alcohol bottles. If people don't know, and it's a bad scene. I think we counted like 12 to 14 storefront vacancies.
That's a lot in that area.
Yeah, it is.
Right in the main
drag.
Yeah, okay.
Yep, right there. And we could have gone further, but we kind of kept it right there on Washington Street in the main business district. Some of them, for instance, Jordy's, and there's this other one, Northside. I call it Shoe, but Northside Family Apparel. They sold shoes.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a Chinese couple, and they got old and they retired, and their kids didn't want the business. There's another business there that was a Haitian store that was there for decades, and the same thing. The lady got old, and she couldn't do it anymore, and the kids tried, but they really didn't want it, so it went out. Jordy's was an empire. We can talk about more of that in depth, and it closed just last month.
Okay.
And that's after 65 years in the same location.
There's one in JP that just closed, Georgie's Shoes.
Georgie's
that
Shoes.
That was 100 years, and she just couldn't swing it anymore financially. It was, I think those small stores have so much expense, and they're really counting on people to come in, and
Right. And the biggest ones in Codman Square, though, there's the Citizens Bank building.
How does a bank go out of business? Come on.
Well, they moved. They decided to go down to Mattapan, and then they left that one. It's been vacant for 2 years. It's a large space, almost 5,000 square feet.
It was a fairly new branch, wasn't it?
No, it had been there a long time. In fact, it had been there so long that the green for the Citizens Bank had turned almost white. Which I used to like to remind them of a lot because it looked terrible. And it's still there, unfortunately. And then the Walgreens, more recently, the Walgreens closed.
Yeah.
That was in September.
And the Popeyes never opened, right?
Popeyes, yeah. They could write a book on that. It could be, UMass could have a degree on that.
Failed chain store openings.
The Popeyes saga of Codman Square.
But so that was opposed by the neighborhood once they approved it.
Yeah. I mean, there was a lot of nuance to that, but yes, in general, I mean, not all the neighborhood didn't want it. A lot of people wanted a fried chicken spot.
Yeah.
Other people.
Wait, isn't Popeye's fried chicken?
It is. A lot of people. So there was a fair amount of people who were not against it, but the majority, particularly the teens, the program there for the teens, as well as the neighborhood council, the health center, a number of others, and the counselor at the time opposed it on the grounds of health. I mean, it is, to be honest with you, the only restaurants in the area are fast food, KFC, McDonald's, and they wanted something better, something healthier.
Okay, but then you have to go get something better and healthier, or you have an empty storefront.
Well, it's true, and to the neighborhood council's credit, after that, they did do that. They actually go out and identify people who they believe could be a good tenant, and they bring them into their meetings and have them serve food or whatever they do. They use their farmers market and their winter farmers market kind of as an incubator.
The House of Seven coffee, right?
There you go. Yeah.
They were at Dorchfest, and they were delicious.
Yeah, and she's been trying to get into one of those vacant storefronts for a long time and just can't crack the code there.
What does that mean? Like, what is the blocker? Cost?
Well, number one, there's this is endemic in all of Dorchester's business districts. Mattapan too. Mattapan Square, Fields Corner, Codman Square, Upham's Corner, maybe not Ashmont so much. But that is people from out of town that own the property. And a lot of times they've owned it for a long time. It's all paid off. Some of them are realty trusts, and the trustees don't even know they own it. It's just a portfolio of many things that they own, and it collects rent. So they don't do upgrades. The electrical is typically very poor. Some of them don't even have heat.
How is that legal? That's not legal. Is it legal?
No, but if you have no lease, you can't complain. And a lot of these businesses are immigrant owned, or they're people who are just barely making it. And if you complain, they say, "Well, get out."
Yeah, yeah.
So you don't have much of a choice. And so that's one of the problems there. And in a lot of those cases, the landlords want long-term leases from chains, which is why Popeyes came in.
Okay.
They were going to sign a 10-year lease.
Yeah.
So when
a local business is not signing a 10-year lease.
No, you're not. And Popeyes and those businesses will do that because they're going to come in and they're going to spend $1 million to build it out.
Yep.
A local person can't do that.
Right.
So they may get a 5-year lease and they do incremental improvements, if any. And that's what you end up getting. And it's a catch-22. What you really need in Codman Square is some people to just say, you need to give people a chance. And we might be getting there. There was one landlord who does own the Popeyes. She lives in Milton. Her family had a diner there at one time. Saint's Diner. Some people might remember that. And, I think she's maybe coming around. She said she's going to subdivide the Popeyes to 2 storefronts, and maybe that gives local people an opportunity. How much of the inside of Popeyes has been fitted for Popeyes? Because the outside 100%. Already. So they're going to have to completely gut and redo it, or have Popeyes themed coffee shop or something. I know, wouldn't that be funny? Popeyes coffee. I imagine there would be a cease and desist coming. Yes, there would. Yeah, there would. And that's kind of the problem. People don't want to take a chance. And I'll point out these other business districts, despite suffering from lack of ownership for the most part, they aren't vacant. They're full. Is that because they have Main Streets associations? Some of them, yes. But others, they just, people it's still a value to be in there. And there's still landlords that will take a chance on, I'll say in Fields Corner, like Level Ground, which is the mixed martial arts studio, which has been wildly successful. Also a Dorchfest performer. Exactly. And very popular. I think they've gathered many new members and participants since they've moved there. So I don't know if someone would take a chance in Codman Square on that. Well, is it the area? It's personal decisions. Oh. It's also parking, but that's kind of like every. I mean, the parking there is bad. It is, but one of the things people don't understand is there is a municipal lot there. I did not know that. Well, a lot of people don't, and one of the problems is that there's a lot of people who park there all day long. I don't know where they're going. Maybe they're with the health center or their business owners. Courthouse, maybe? Courthouse is probably one of them. Maybe a little far, but there's other things. There's also the 23 bus. that runs through there. Maybe they're getting on the bus. Other people, I can tell you, just pull up and sell stuff. So they just like take stuff out of their trunk and they're selling things.
So there is a thriving business district there.
Where you're supposed to park to go to the businesses. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of
there
a
is a train station.
That's true. Talbot, you mean the commuter rail
commuter
station?
rail,
Yeah, you could be parking there. You might find a closer spot.
No, I mean, you could take the train there. Is there no red line stop in Codman?
Yeah, there's Shawmut.
Shawmut, but that's not
a little
that
bit of a
close.
walk. It's close, but it's not close. It's the 23 bus is like the main thing that runs through there.
Isn't that the one that people?
That is.
Wow, go use this.
You can get a bus transfer from Codman to Grove Hall.
The bus driver would be like, "What the hell is this?"
Yeah, if you gave this to a bus driver, they'd go, "What?"
They'd kick you out.
They'd say, "Okay, get on." Well, I think this is good.
Doesn't technically have an expiration date.
Well, only on April 1st.
Oh. So wait until April 1st of this year.
April Fool's Day.
You did talk a little about the lack of leadership. So is that part of the problem? Is that there's nobody really...
A business organization, yeah. You know, a lot of these places, like going back a long time ago, had merchants association. It wasn't main streets. It was just a merchants association. So you have your neighborhood association and your merchants association, and they stuck together, and they really did demand. They had a voice. They demanded changes. They got action. The business districts were better because of it. But those kind of all, I don't know, they just fizzled out. Mattapan Square had one. It fizzled out. Codman had one. Then Main Streets came in. Main Streets, of course, is a program that's quasi-city.
Yeah.
You know,
that was Mayor Menino, I think, who started
it's a
the Greater Ashmont one.
Yeah, it's a national model.
Yeah.
There are other cities that have Main Streets. But Menino did bring it in. That was, I think that's part of his platform when he first came in. He did it in Roslindale first. And it worked. And it is successful, but it really is dependent on the person that's running it. How active are they? How well do they know the neighborhood? How much time are they going to spend on it? Fundraising is big in that because you have to raise half. You know, the other thing is the city going to pay on time. You know, when you have an event and you have all these vendors, they want to get paid at a reasonable, before 180 days.
Yeah. So what's the solution here?
I think one of the things that should be explored more often, whether we're talking about this or anything in the city, is just people power. And that is, let's get together, let's have this. We don't need a big umbrella or a massive budget, but you can have a meeting pretty much for free. So if you get 10 shop owners and one of them that's more vocal, now you have an organization.
Yeah.
If you have 5 shop owners really in that area, you have an organization. And, you get the ear of a city council or something. And, I think that's probably, organizing without so much structure, doing things without like having to have a, $1 million study is probably in order all over the
Residents
city.
too. They should be raising voices about their unhappiness.
Right. And in this case, the residents in Codman Square have a very powerful voice. The neighborhood council and all of the civic associations around it are pretty, high functioning, and they get action. Was mentioned in the story, a brand new park was just unveiled there. They had a ribbon cutting. And that park would have never happened without the neighbors demanding it. They demanded it. They designed it. They took it to the city. They even found their own funding. Maybe the businesses need to do a little more of that, too.
They've done some work on Second Church as well, which we've talked about. So there's some investment going on there. Yeah.
Second Church is going to look tremendous when it's done. And the bell is going to ring.
Let's move to Jordy's specifically.
Jordy's.
So speaking of Codman, this is one...
Jordy's men's store. I've gone to it. I'm going to miss it, actually. It was where I bought my brothers-in-law most of their gifts, sweaters, wallets, belts, school uniforms. They had those there. Everybody knew them because they had kind of a very unique storefront. It was like a pinstripe with the old-fashioned glass where they would have mannequins putting there were some really interesting outfits that they had on. A lot of them were very stylized, and I'm sure they changed with the times.
Yeah.
But, it just drew your attention. It was an old-fashioned store, and it really did come out of an old-fashioned time. It was one of many. So it was like, you know how you might see some of these small local chains. I'll just use like E.B. Lynn's was one of them. I don't know if you remember that. So it was like a retailer. I think they started in East Boston. They may have had 10 stores around.
Okay.
So like a regional retailer. And that was started by this family.
The family that ran Geordie's. Okay.
That's right. Yeah. I mean, the people who ran it in later years were not the original. They were relatives, but they were all related. And so what happened was there was this massive department store, one of the first of its kind on Blue Hill Avenue, called Silverstein's. And this was like probably before the war and after, definitely before 1960.
Okay.
When everything changed. And that's where everyone went to buy their things. You didn't have a car to go to the mall. There were no malls. So you went there. And this gentleman, Morris Silverstein, had quite a interesting idea to expand off of his very successful, like probably first in the nation department store, which is, like Macy's would be now. And those are out of vogue now. But that was a very new idea for him. And he thought, let's have satellite stores with other family members. We'll set everybody up in different locations and not compete with each other. And I think they probably use purchasing power as well to offer unique items and lower prices. And Geordie's was one of the ones that they set up. Another was Jack's Men's Shop, which was in the South End.
Okay.
It eventually moved to Chelsea. I have the honor of having written the closing story for Jack's Men's Shop too. In 2020, when the family that ran Geordie's, their cousin ran Jack's, and he just was, he was older and he was ready to retire. And it was a very successful business when he closed. People in Chelsea loved it. And the same with Geordie's. Geordie's had quite a following even into the mid-2000s, always employing the people who lived around the store. The people from the community were always employed. Even in Chelsea, the one Jack's. There was another one in Mattapan Square called Alson's. That was part of the empire. One in Randolph, and then the Silversteins, the one on Blue Hill Avenue.
Okay.
And so it was a unique idea, and it worked. And Geordie's has been there 65 years until just a few days ago.
It's got to be so hard to keep competing with internet mostly, but also, the big box stores.
Well, I think that's really it. The people who owned the shoe store, so the Chinese couple who went out, as well as Geordie's. So a lot of the things that they could do, like I remember taking my kids in the shoe store and they thought, you got to go to the mall to get shoes. Mm-hmm. And I said, well, let's just go in here because I used to buy my shoes there. And they were like, wow, because there were things in there that you weren't going to find anywhere else. Because what they relied on is they would say, okay, let's be specialties. Let's get specialty items. Limited edition things. All these shoe companies make limited runs. Like they'll make 5,000. Like I'll give you one example. There was a pair of Pumas that had Snoopy and Woodstock on them playing tennis. And the kids had never seen that before, and it was cool in elementary school.
Yeah.
Maybe
I'd
not
wear
now.
those now.
Yeah, they are pretty sharp. They're still around the house. Like they're in the radiator. No, maybe under, but. Yeah, and that's how they survived. They got these limited edition runs. They'd say, can you get me 20 pairs out of the 5,000? And, the shoe companies would do so. And then they could sell them there. And it was a niche market. And people would buy them. And you couldn't find them anywhere else. And that was really kind of something they did. But these shoe companies, let's say Nike was a big brand that they would sell. Clark's, they made quite a bit of money off of that. But as time went on, these brands didn't really want them, according to them. These brands didn't want them. They weren't interested,
The shoes companies weren't interested in giving them those.
Yeah, and other brands too. Levi's, it's like, okay, we've been doing business with you 60 years. Come on in, when they're doing their buying.
Right.
Come on in, you got 5 minutes, choose what you want and get out of here. And just the attitude and mindset that you got to go somewhere else. That's... In Dorchester, everybody thinks that. You got to go somewhere else to get something good.
Yeah.
It's been like that a long time in people's mind, and that's, maybe we've been conditioned to think that. I always thought, let's slow down and let's see actually what's here. And then not many people, well, there was a good following at the shoe store, but a lot of people didn't go there. They didn't think there was anything in there. But you could go in there and get a pair of Jordans actually at a cheaper price than the mall.
When did they close?
about 18 months ago, right after Christmas, I think in 2023. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, they just retired. You know, they'd been at it a while. Geordie's, the same sort of thing. The owner, this guy Jay Wolf, he's the last of the family, and he is more involved in a store that he has an interest in up in New Hampshire. And you know, he used to be at Geordie's every day. His dad was, for the most part, the Geordie's guy. Leonard Wolf was his name, Lenny, and he was well known in Codman Square, and he just passed away a year or so ago. Everybody knew him. You know, when you're on a block every single day for many, many years, you know all the ins and outs. Right. You know all the things that happen, the people that come through. You know, as this guy, the son said, you know, we would sell a person their first suit and their last suit, unfortunately. You know, that's the life of a retailer. Right. You do that, and you do it with dignity and thoughtfulness, you know.
I've been spending a lot of time in Codman lately, Seth.
Who, you?
You have.
I live there, you know. So
well, that makes sense.
yeah. But that is true, though. A lot of people who live around Codman Square
don't go
there. And there's been studies. Northeastern did a study. There's been a lot of studies on that. They just don't patronize the business district.
I think Daily Table closing really hurt.
That was another one. We didn't get to that, but that was a major one too. I mean, there's
great location, you know, and food. I mean,
and
groceries.
Parking. It had parking. Yeah, across the street.
Yeah.
No. There's got to be a reason. Someone needs to delve in and figure it out. The neighborhood council, the health center.
Corruption. No, I'm just kidding. But we are going to get on corruption in our next story.
Are we?
Old corruption.
Old. We must be talking about UMass
We're
Boston.
talking about UMass, yeah. So I was asking you earlier, the nursing building came down. Why did it come down if it's not that old? And you said?
Well, yeah, I mean, UMass Boston has, I'll start by saying it has turned a page from its past. But when it was built, I mean, there was quite a bit of controversy. You know, I think there's still people alive who have hard feelings about it, so I won't get too deep into that.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, every building was built by a different person, a different contractor. As it was told to me, it was a downturn in the construction industry at the time. So it was. What
is this, like 70s, 80s?
Yeah,
80s?
70s. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
I would say, and maybe late 60s. I wish I had looked that up, but. You know, there were some people who went to jail for it, some legislators.
Okay.
Alleged corruption. Now,
well, it's not alleged if they went to jail. It's corruption.
Well, you know, the people who did it, there's questions about the people who went to jail. Did they really do it? And the people who didn't go to jail, did they do it? You know, so I'm not going to get into that.
Wow, we're going to have you back for a whole interview on that one.
I've had people who said, I was in the room when the supposed bribe was given, and there was no bribe.
Okay.
Anyway, that's all background, but out of its past has really come some unique building. We've always seen, all of us have seen the science building. It's been there about maybe 10 years. I really don't know, but
that's the pretty one.
Yeah. So it has a glowing aspect to it at night. A lot of glass. It's new, innovative.
Stands out among the industrial brick theme that is UMass.
Right, and you know, that brick is, as we were talking before the podcast, it is above ground and below ground. The parking lot was condemned below ground, and I know many people, including myself, who damaged their car on the many, many, many pillars that seem to be placed for no apparent reason right in the middle of everything.
I like how you phrase it as people who damaged their cars versus people who damaged the pillars with their cars.
Well, there's a little bit of both going on. But I honestly, in its last days, if you'd have hit one of those pillars, you might have brought it all down on you.
Oh, jeez.
I don't know. They may have been a little too much water in the concrete, as they say. I don't know.
Oh.
Yeah, who knows? But like I was saying, there's a new day there. The buildings are better. The whole campus is actually taking a turn for a number of years now. There is on-campus housing now. They have dorms.
Yeah.
The dorms are pretty nice looking too, actually. They're further down Mount Vernon. A lot of people don't go down there.
No.
You know, if you don't have a reason, you won't.
Is that Harbor Point?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
I didn't realize it was
so
dorms.
Yeah, Harbor Point actually has a lot of college students.
Yeah.
But it's separate. Across the street are new dorms that are about 10 stories tall.
Okay.
And they have, I think, around 1,100 beds.
Wow.
Yeah, and a lot of freshmen live there.
Yeah.
I talked with a young woman recently from Worcester, and she came to UMass Boston.
Okay. So this is the new nursing school building.
Yeah. So what happened was UMass Boston made a filing, for environmental reasons and to begin the whole process. And they have to have a master plan. So they filed a new updated master plan, which doesn't mean they're going to build anything. It's just this is what we want to do.
Okay.
But within that, they actually did file a notice kind of to proceed on a new building that would be for the nursing program.
And when did this building come down?
Well, I don't know. It's been a little while. It's been several years, but they did demolish what was called the science building. I think there was a lot of things in there. The nursing was one.
Okay.
So since then, nursing has kind of been spread out, I think, at 3 locations on campus. There was some proposals by a lot of people to put it different places. There was a brief minute where the Kearney was suggested.
I heard that.
Yeah, we won't talk about that. That's all gone.
Yeah.
But also at Southline, across the street here from you.
Okay.
That was talked about. Maybe there's some space in there for the nursing program. As it turns out, they want it on campus, and that's smart. Everyone can see why. You want everything on campus.
Yeah.
And the nursing program is one of their most popular and biggest programs. It's one of the biggest in the state.
And we need more nurses.
We need more nurses, and we need to train nurses. And it's one of the better programs. And certainly, it's right in Boston. It's easy to get to for most people. You don't have to have a car if you don't want to. So they are going to build a new one. That's the news. They have put it out. They've shown a preliminary rendering, and it's all preliminary. They do have the money. The money was secured in the budget by a state delegation. And, who knows when it's going to start. These things take time, more time than you'd expect. But I would say it's sooner than later. It's not aspirational. It's a certainty.
It's quite glassy. Looks nice.
It is. And I like the thing they said it's going to glow at night. I like things that glow at night.
Me too. Like the moon.
Yes. Yeah, no, it is nice. I mean, the science building, it glows at night. And when you're driving on Morrissey, early in the morning or late at night. Yeah.
Or if you're across the bay looking over, it stands out. Or in a plane.
Yeah, and they understand that. They know their past is brick and poor brick and not good mortar, and they're trying to build, with better materials and things that stand out. This is they're referring to this as a gateway aspect, like welcoming you.
Yeah.
It's something
when
nice.
You fly into Boston at night, you see UMass. If you're, the flight path is right over the peninsula. Mm-hmm. So
it's true. JFK and UMass right there.
Yeah.
So it will look nicer. It'll welcome people to campus. The campus is really, really changed. Even like open space, there's like a really nice green space now right on the, facing the ocean, the bay or the harbor. And it's really a nice place to sit. There's a quad now. So like most campuses have a quad. It has a quad right in the middle. In fact, this building is going to open up into the quad. Things have changed.
That's good. My tech guy, who also is my boyfriend, has described UMass from his days there before he went to Penn State as prison-like. So I think this will be good improvements.
People misunderstood it for that. It looked like it could be.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they just were, Wall Street Journal just came out with their version of the top colleges, which has a different metric than U.S. News and World Report.
I heard those are all nonsense.
A lot of them are. I like the Wall Street Journals because it's based on, some accounting. It's a financial newspaper, so it's like, if you're going to pay this much, are you going to make this much?
Oh, I like that metric.
Is there a value in it? UMass Boston was, I believe it was in the 300s out of 500.
It's not bad.
Yeah, I mean, it was right there with a lot of Rochester Institute of Technology was right below it. Rensselaer, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it was there with some good schools.
Yeah.
It wasn't 350 is a good spot to be in.
That's not bad. Yeah.
No, not at all.
Well, speaking of construction projects, the White Stadium project is off to the races.
Yeah, well, I think it's demolished. I don't know what they're doing now.
Well, they got the funding, so that is good.
Yeah, funding is there. Construction-wise, I think they've hit a pause. Well, they're behind.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I think
as construction tends to be.
Yeah, but even so, they were going to open in March 2026. I think that was aggressive.
I think that got pushed out pretty quickly.
Yeah. I didn't see how it would happen.
No.
So they are, if you want to say they're behind, they're behind. Maybe they're just being realistic now.
Yeah.
They're going to play at Gillette,
Right.
and then they'll come here, potentially, if that all works out in 2027.
Yeah, I think that's right.
But what happened is there's a guy who was
Sean Lydon. Yep.
Yeah, Sean Lydon. He was in charge of inspectional services. He has a lifetime at the building department in City Hall, or 1010 Mass Ave, where the building department is located. And so he left as director of ISD, and he was assigned to like special projects, and a new person took his spot. And one of those special projects was White Stadium. Another was Long Island Bridge and campus for recovery purposes.
Which is not a project.
Well, it
right?
is, but it's the project right now is I think in litigation. I think they've come to an end of that, or they're close to it. So,
but it's not going to be built.
I don't know.
That's another conversation. But
Yeah.
I've heard nothing indicating that that's going to happen.
They still say it's going to happen. I don't know.
Quincy is like completely anti.
I know, but there's judges that have said you can't be anti.
I like that. You are not allowed to be anti.
Yes. And I'm on their side. No, I mean,
we need something, and that's
Right.
a decent solution, but it's going to be so expensive.
yeah, I think that the problem that Boston had, or the situation with people living on the street, was far different.
When there was a place.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that place is adequate for the modern, our modern issue.
Yeah.
There was not fentanyl when Long Island existed.
Yeah, right.
Now there's meth, fentanyl, and some other elephant tranquilizer that's going around.
Right.
Those things weren't on the street, and
Right.
the homelessness problem. We've attracted a lot of people from
Yeah.
other states, and other states send people. That's documented. I'm not just
Yeah.
talking.
Yeah.
So I don't know if Long Island campus is. It was good in its day. I don't know if I think its day has
Right.
come and gone. There's going to have to be more than just that.
The bridge and the facility
Yeah.
redo. Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're getting sidetracked. So Sean Lydon.
We are.
Yeah.
Yes. He was in charge of that, and he has decided to leave. He took a new job with the Water and Sewer Commission.
Okay.
So he's not overseeing White Stadium or Long Island Bridge.
Is he a dot
campus.
guy? Is he a
No,
local?
JP.
Okay.
He's an Irish guy.
Okay.
He just knows everything. He's been valuable to them. Water and Sewer has some needs
Yeah.
on their building, which looks really nice. But I was surprised to learn that they moved there in 2001.
Where is that building?
It's on Harrison Avenue
Okay. In the
in
south
Melnia,
end?
Cass.
Yeah. Okay.
24-hour operation, obviously. So they need a new roof. They just got rid of their parking lots. They're going to be developed to housing and other things. So now they might need a parking garage.
Are they going to move, or are they going to
No,
stay there?
They're staying there. It's a great facility, and it's a good place for them to be. But, 2001 is a long time ago.
Yeah, longer
Yeah.
than I'd like to think. That was the year I
Yes.
graduated from high school.
See, those, every year when we have 9/11, I think about like it was just yesterday, and then there's many, many people who,
We're not born.
yeah. What did it look like? Oh, you weren't there?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, one more quick story before we wrap. So, District 7, we're between the prelim and the
City
general,
Council.
which is, what day is that? November?
Yeah. The first Tuesday
November-ish.
in November. I always say the first Tuesday in November because I can't ever remember either.
Yeah. So we're down to 2 candidates for that at-large seat, or that district seat, and 2 of the former rivals who did not make the cut are now backing one of the candidates, Minyard Culpepper.
Yeah. I mean, that was an interesting race. I mean, there were so many candidates. It was a lively race. There were probably, there was close to
11.
11. Yeah, and even more took out papers. So at one time, there could have been like 17.
Yeah.
It was, but yeah, it was an open seat.
Yep.
So
Fernandez Anderson.
yeah, there was no incumbent. And it was good to see so many people. There was a lot of people that have been involved, have run before, or they've been involved in other things, organizing, working with the city. So it was a lively race, and people went door to door. That was interesting for that district. They went door to door asking for the vote. And that's a good thing to happen. That's a democratic thing. Not just like expecting the vote. You ask for it.
Yeah.
So one of the good things was that on election night, there was a lot of excitement for District 7. And I don't think people expected these two candidates, Coach Ahmed and Minyard Culpepper, to emerge. I think they kind of maybe counted them both out. There were other candidates who worked really hard too. And,
who were a little more showy or
yeah,
visible.
More money.
Yeah.
Certainly more money. And they did not make the cut. But two of them, the other Saeed Abdikaram, who ran at large at one time too.
Okay.
He's also known as Orange Shirt.
Okay.
That's his thing. And
It's a
yeah,
little tidbit you just dropped and moved on. Cool.
yeah, and there's a long story behind it that he has, and I won't get into it.
Okay.
But he is now backing Minyard Culpepper.
Okay.
And then Sam Hurtado, who worked in business development, but was also an organizer in South Boston, the Old Colony housing development for a long time, and lives in District 7 near Upham's Corner. He was a very serious candidate. He campaigned very hard. And he is now backing Minyard Culpepper. So Minyard is getting
some momentum.
Yeah. And, he has also ran for public office.
Okay.
He ran for state senate for the seat that Liz Miranda now holds.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, and that was a lively race too. And he's been around a very long time. He was an activist. He's a minister. He has a church on Humboldt Avenue. And so he seems to, even though they're very close in the vote total, he seems to be getting the support of the field that was running with them. The other guy, Coach Ahmed, Saeed Ahmed, isn't getting the same support, although he got a big vote. We'll see where that goes.
Yeah.
I could not pick a winner. I don't know who's going to win that.
Okay. Well, that'll be interesting to watch then.
Yeah. I will.
Speaking of not picking winners, I'm picking a winner for this weekend.
Oh, the Patriots?
I hope it's a good game. But thank you for coming, Seth.
Yeah,
it's great to see you
my
again.
pleasure to be here.
Yeah, and good luck to your team this weekend. I'm just kidding. Dot Life is sponsored in part by the Dorchester Reporter, Dorchester's own community newspaper and online home for all things Dorchester at dotnews.com. The Reporter, owned and operated by the Forey family, has been laser focused on Dorchester and the surrounding neighborhoods of Boston since 1983. That longevity and experience shows in its award-winning coverage every week. The Reporter is our go-to source for authentic stories about the people, places, and events that matter most to our daily lives. We are proud to partner with The Reporter and Dot News. And you can support the important journalism provided by The Reporter. Just go to dotnews.com to subscribe today. It's the best deal in town and helps keep our local community journalism alive and well. Back to Dot Life. We are very comfortably seated in the back room of Bully Boy Distilling Company here on the edge of Dorchester. We're not quite in Dorchester, but we're very close. And I'm excited to talk about distilling, the impacts of local distilleries, what urban distilling is like. But before we do that, let's meet our guest today. So first is Will Willis, who is with Bully Boy Distillers. Hey, Will.
Hey.
Thanks for hosting us.
Oh, my God. Thanks for being here.
It's a really cool space.
Thanks. Yeah, we like to think so.
You have it decked out very nicely.
The novelty hasn't worn off. Yeah, actually, we're in our newest addition to the overall distillery space. We opened this about a year and a half ago.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Very cool.
Thanks.
And we're also joined by Matt Nuernberger, who is from GrandTen Distilling, which is technically in Southie, but we'll talk to you anyway. Hi, Matt.
We're on Dorchester Ave, so it's like
that's the
an
compromise.
Extension.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Dorchester reaches into South Boston via
Right.
Dorchester
They
Ave.
stole our name to name the street, so it's fine.
Most of the people think we're in Dorchester, so
We'll continue that.
perfect.
Yeah. Tell us about GrandTen.
GrandTen is an urban distillery that was started in 2010, coincidentally, and we make a handful of crafty spirits there, so a lot of fun stuff.
And is GrandTen named after the 2010, or is it something else?
GrandTen is named at a company previous to this called GrandTen Projects. And when I started working on what is GrandTen Distilling, I was writing the business plan, and I was trying to think of a really good name, like Boston Distillery or Boston City Distillery or something like that. And I couldn't find anything that I felt like fit right. And so I wrote in GrandTen Distilling as a placeholder.
And it stuck.
Well, at the time I was working with my cousin, who was a co-founder, and we talked about it, and he's like, no, GrandTen's perfect. And so even as we were headed in to sign the paperwork on the LLC to start the business, I'm like, are you sure this is our last? She's like, just shut up, GrandTen's great. So
I agree with your cousin.
yeah, we stuck with it, and it's been naming wise, like I've been really happy with it. I think as a business side, it's important sometimes to have a unique name.
Yeah.
That when people Google or search or whatever, they're like, oh, there that is. But at the same time, not so unique that people are like, what is that?
Yeah, right. I'm in marketing by day, and I've had to work with companies who have like nouns as their name or verbs, and it's like, this is not distinctive enough. I don't know what to do with this. So
Right.
I think that was a good move. Will, how about Bully Boy? Where did that come from?
So the origin story for the name actually goes back to where Dave and I grew up, in a farm in Sherburne, Massachusetts, and it really sort of is the spiritual center of the company. You know, we're based in the city, and grateful for it. But we grew up on a farm, and kind of our version of the end of the driveway lemonade stand was apple cider. We had about 80 apple trees on the farm. And that's sort of how we got in a tangential way into this business, working, making our own thing, very innocently, of course, at first. But there was a horse, my great-grandfather who originally owned the farm had a horse named Bully Boy.
Okay.
And it's taken from the Teddy Roosevelt expression, bully for you, meaning good for you, which no one really says anymore. But I think back in the day...
Bring it back, man.
Yeah, well, we can work on it. And to Matt's point, I think, we envisioned ourselves at a loud, crowded bar. What can you yell out and get the bartender's attention? And, Bully Boy kind of rolled off the
You like that
came
better than Barkeep?
Yeah. So it felt like a name that might stick. And it is definitely the hardest part of starting a company, though. I think just trying to figure out, what your name's going to be. It really is it becomes a part of you, and it's reflective of not just the product you're selling, but you yourself, and so anyways, it's worked out all right.
So tell me more about this space that we're in right now. What was it before you took it over?
Yeah, I mean, it's had a variety of lives. We were told most recently it was a laundry facility. Prior to that, there were Brinks trucks being stored here, and it was sort of like the holding pen for the repair shop, which was a couple doors down. And when we were renovating the space, one of the contractors discovered this photograph that it was sort of behind a layer of plaster, and we actually have it, and we mounted it in a piece of plexiglass and bolted it to the wall. We have no idea who this person is. He looks a little bit sinister, but sort of in a maybe innocent way. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but so I don't know if this person worked here or. So beyond that, we're not really sure. There was a boxing gym upstairs before we moved in, but it's been largely vacant since we've been here. Honestly, upstairs there were artist lofts for a while, and then those were sort of shut down. They sort of morphed into sort of short-term housing, and I think that was it's an industrial building, so you can't have anybody living here.
Yeah.
And
you moved in what year?
We moved here 2010.
Oh, the same as
yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And we're attracted to the area. It felt like a good home for us. The Nuernberger district is sort of the technical term of the neighborhood, and it's there's a lot of food and beverage wholesaling warehouses here, and so there was some practical convenience to the space itself, high ceilings and ramps and things like that. So it's worked out really well.
Yeah, very nice. Matt, how about your building? What was it prior to GrandTen?
Yeah, so 383 Dorchester Ave has like a really rich history. Cyrus Alger was an industrialist that kind of developed the area. They say, according to the Globe, that the first rifled cannon was developed in our space around the time of the Revolutionary War.
Rifled cannon, what does that mean? Do you know?
Yeah, so rifling is where you score the inside of the cannon.
Okay,
in
so like spirals
a
or whatever?
spiral,
Okay.
right? And so if the projectile has a spin to it, it'll fly straighter.
Okay.
Or a set spin, right? If you fire it without a spin, then it's going to develop some spin and then do whatever it wants to do.
Okay.
So I guess that was first developed there, and then afterwards, there's a company called Norway Wire Works, wire company that came in, and they made wire there, and I guess it was like a
Any wire or wire for a certain thing?
like steel wire, I assume.
Okay.
Maybe brass wire. But I guess it was like a 24-hour fireworks show where they're stretching the wire and melting the metal to do so. It was the Boston Globe, again, as we researched the building, talked about how school trips would go down there.
I think that's hilarious.
The article ended by saying, if you haven't been down to see it, your trip to Boston was incomplete. So,
we had a Perry's ice cream tour back in, we were very soft in Buffalo.
I'd like to think that the Globe would write something about us today that says, if you haven't been to GrandTen, then your trip to Boston is incomplete. But
for school children?
Yeah, sure. Learn how the spirits are made.
That's right.
Start 'em young.
Not drinking, just the science behind it, right?
Yeah.
And then sometime around the end of the 1800s, the building actually caught fire. And so we read this story about Thomas McGuire and how he raised a ladder to fight the fire in the middle of the night. And when he got up there, he didn't have any water, so he was just trying to punch the fire out. When the fire department showed up,
It doesn't seem tremendously effective. I don't know.
I haven't tried to punch fire out.
Let's not do that.
But, I mean, McGuire, so I assume he was a local South Boston resident at the time.
That makes sense.
I guess the fire department pulled him off the roof where he fought with the fierceness of a tiger. And for some reason, I can't imagine why, he was arrested and taken over to Station 6, which is over by the Burger King.
I feel like there might have been some spirits involved in this story.
Maybe. But we created a spirit in his memory called Fire Puncher, and that's like our spicy,
That's
smoky
amazing.
vodka. And so we have a Fire Puncher Day, which is always January 24th when the event happened.
Okay. Was he involved with the building, or was he just a rando who decided to punch it out?
It's really difficult to do that kind of research on events that happened before the internet existed. The investigative reporting wasn't a thing in the late 1800s.
That's fair.
They didn't have podcasts where they dove into the local events.
Well, if anyone punches a fire now, I'm going to be all over it.
Right, you're on it.
It'll be documented.
Right. And what happened and why were you punching the fire?
How big is your space?
We're about 6,600 square feet.
Okay. And how big is this one, Will?
We have 1,200 square feet. 12,000 square feet on this side of the street, and then another 4,000 square feet across the street.
You mentioned, Matt, that you have a fiery vodka for the Fire Puncher man.
Yes. Yeah, Thomas McGuire. Yeah, Fire Puncher vodka is chipotle pepper vodka, and then we infuse hickory smoke through it, so it kind of bubbles through to give it that the complete package of, as the building was burning, what
people were smelling and tasting.
Right, what Thomas McGuire was maybe experiencing as he's punching it out. But we make a variety of different stuff. We do some rum, we do gin, we do vodka, we do whiskey, we do some brandies, and of course some liqueurs. When I started GrandTen, it wasn't like a single focus of this is the thing I want to make. It was, I'm interested in gin, I'm interested in whiskey, I'm interested in brandy. I'm not so interested in vodka, but everybody loves vodka, so
how can you make vodka more interesting?
Right.
Yeah.
And so for Spencer and I, my co-founder, who's also my cousin, our grandparents were both big gin drinkers, so Wireworks was our first official product that we put out.
Named after the wire factory.
Named after the wire factory,
Nice.
right, to tie it back into the building. And that was like I think a product that's still like very close to my heart as like the first one that we spent a lot of time on, and I feel like we really like got encapsulated both like our family feeling of gin and the building's rich history, also like tied it into Boston.
Okay.
So 3 out of 3 on that one.
Nice. Folks who are listening, we are in a working distillery, so you may hear some background noise. Will, what about Belly Boy?
Yeah, I think Matt touched on something which resonated. Is just everything you do is a little bit of a balance between sort of art and commerce. I think we all get into this business not because it's a business, because it's a passion, and you quickly realize though that unless your passion sells, then you're not going to stick around long. So we launched, and just as a sort of a matter of fact, the way the distilling process works, which I know we'll get into in a minute, but everything you make is clear. So the brown spirits that you see are brown because they've been sitting in a barrel for a certain period of time. So when you first launch, it's got to be something clear.
Whiskey is clear, but when it's first, I didn't realize that.
So think like moonshine. That is essentially unaged whiskey.
Okay.
And actually, so that's what we launched. We launched with a vodka. We did a white unaged rum, and then we did a white unaged whiskey, which again you can call a lot of different things. Moonshine is like sort of the most fabled name for it. And so we launched with those 3, and then I think to Matt's point, we didn't dial in on one thing, and that was really more I think not only because our creative fascinations were diverse, we just wanted to keep it interesting and try different things, but also because if you're walking into a liquor store or a restaurant and you're trying to sell your wares and you've got one thing that you make, they might not need that. And then so it was really just sort of like, let's make a couple different things so that it increases our chances of getting a sale. Luckily we liked all three things that we launched with. And then over the years, as we were around for years, we could start offering brown spirits, and then we introduced gins, and now we're really today we really lean into we've got a robust whiskey portfolio, and Amaro is a category that we really feel passionate about, and that it's a little bit more of a niche category that we can sort of be a bigger fish in a smaller pond.
Is that a whiskey?
Amaro is like a broad category of spirits that would encompass everything from like Jägermeister to Aperol. So it's basically the way you make it is you're taking a neutral spirit, think like a vodka, and you're steeping that in various fruits and botanicals, and you're adding a little bit of sugar. It's generally a lower proof spirit, and it's equally great to mix with or have on its own. So it's they're really fun because the creative possibilities are endless.
Matt, you laughed at Jägermeister. Is that a frowned upon liquor in the distilling?
Absolutely not. No,
okay.
Jägermeister is delicious. Just I haven't had Jägermeister personally in maybe 15 years. Okay. So just a flashback.
Yeah.
But now that Will's brought it up, we'll probably head out after this and go do some
Jaeger bombs. Yeah.
Relive old times.
Well, no, I don't think Jaeger bombs. I mean, I think we'll enjoy it as a neat spirit. We'll sip on it. I don't want Red Bull to get in the way.
How did you both get into distilling? At what point in your growing up did you say, this is something I really enjoy doing? Did it start with like mixing drinks and enjoying that? Or tell me how you get into this.
Yeah, so for me, I had a passion behind spirits, and I was really interested in how they were made. I definitely didn't try to make any spirits on my own before getting a distilling license. Once I had that license, I then started to experiment with how to make spirits. But how I specifically started with GrandTen was I found myself in a job that I'd lost all my passion for, and I was like, how did I get here? And so I went back to school and got my MBA at Babson with a focus on entrepreneurship, and I was like, I'm going to get to Babson, I'm going to meet a bunch of other smart dudes, This was in like 2009, 2008. I started. I was like, by the time 2012 comes, I'll be retired from whatever .com thing we launched, and it's going to be awesome. But 2008 happened and the housing market crashed, and I got there and there were a lot of smart people, but I didn't hear any ideas that I felt like were really exciting, that really ignited me. And so that summer, I spent that summer really focused on, well, what am I going to do when I graduate? And at the time, craft distilling was very much in its infancy. So I spent the second half of that MBA career focused on launching a distillery. I decided, Boston didn't have a distillery at the time. We were both kind of started simultaneously. I remember the first time I heard about Bully Boy, I was heartbroken.
Are you
sitting
both
there.
sworn enemies? I didn't realize that.
No, not enemies at all. But
Okay.
right, you can imagine. You're like, oh, I'm going to start this craft distillery in Boston. There's craft distilleries everywhere in Massachusetts, but there's none in Boston.
And you both had that
And I'm
idea at the
gonna be
exact
like,
same time.
well, I think Will was a little bit in front of us.
Okay.
But he also didn't have to do the zoning that we did. So if we're going to get official,
Right.
Newmarket was very generous. And so I remember walking down the street, and my buddy texted me, hey, oh, did you hear about this Bully Boy distillery? I'm like, what are you talking about?
Sorry, bro.
Yeah, I mean,
Will, how was your journey?
It's funny. I'm glad Matt went first, so I had to get some time to think about it. I think first and foremost, I knew from a young age I wanted to have my own business, and I was really inspired by my dad, who was he was a lawyer by training, but he always had kind of a side hustle, and I think it, honestly, not to pat Matt and myself on the back, but it takes a lot of courage to start your own business, and you have to really have conviction and kind of belief. And it's weird. I kind of had that before I knew what it was that I wanted to do. And like Matt, I traveled through the corporate world, and actually didn't despise it. I was a victim of the 2008 market implosion. I was working in real estate at the time, and real estate was also very a slow industry, and I tend to be more ADD. I like to fast-paced. My brother and I had a strong, affinity since our youth. We're growing up on a farm for kind of making our own thing. I think it was sort of craft before that was a thing. We were making cider, and we had 2 milk cows, so we were making butter and all this stuff that was like, it was just like fun weekend stuff. We had we got into hard cider, and then eventually we had a little 2-gallon stovetop still. That was, again, like nights and weekends. We'd mess around and, just sort of the most popular guys at the party, because we'd show up with like this, what we'd call Applejack, which is, essentially like what New Englanders refer to as apple brandy. And what we were making was more like, rocket fuel. It was pretty horrid tasting stuff. But we got, our fascinations grew with the science of it, and we kind of got better and better over the years. And eventually sort of those, the passion of making something, and the desire to have my own business, and having a brother who wanted to take the leap with me. We workshopped the business plan, got to maybe like 85% confidence, and the last 15% was just a leap of faith. And there was, the timing was good. This was like 2010, was like peak, craft beer interest. Distilling, the general rule of thumb is distilling tends to trail the brewing world by a couple of years, so the distilling thing hadn't really taken off yet, and we just really wanted to take a page out of the Harpoon brewery, playbook, and kind of try and be that for spirits.
Yeah.
That was basically the journey.
So you talked about some of the different spirits. I want to look at the distilling process as a whole, and then tell me where it kind of breaks off based on the type of spirit that you're working on. So, what is your major offering at GrandTen? Do you have a primary spirit?
we have like the big sellers that if you were to look at this whole state, right, the things that sell the most in the largest liquor stores and restaurants are the things that are the categories that are the largest, right? So vodka and we have an Irish whiskey that we import from Ireland and blend. Those are like massive categories. But once you come into the distillery, into the space, you find that the sales are even across all the spirits, right? Because people are able to come in and they're like, oh, maybe I'm a vodka drinker. I really don't enjoy gin. But then they're just thinking of, the heavy British gins with a huge
Beefeater or something.
Right, a huge juniper taste in the front and not a lot going on in the background. And they're like, oh, this isn't gin. I'm like, this is gin. And so they find new things that they like, or they're like, what is apple brandy? I'm not an apple brandy fan. And like rum, we find is huge. We sell a lot of rum. A lot of whiskey drinkers come in. They're like, give me a bourbon. And we, sometimes we don't have bourbon. We're like, have you tried like an aged rum or like an aged rum old fashioned? They're like,
too sweet, or
I'm not. Like I'm like, it's not Captain Morgan, right? Like, let's take a step back. Like, I think what you like to taste is the barrel. You can get that barrel flavor through other mediums, and in this case, we find that rum is really like an excellent. Our Medford rum makes excellent cocktails, and we catch people off guard.
Is that the same kind of experience with you, Will?
Yeah, it is interesting. Everyone, whenever you mention the Jägermeister comment from earlier, that's a common occurrence where you might mention rum, and someone's like, "Oh God, I can't drink rum. I got really sick on it in college or high school or something." Well, were you drinking rum or were you drinking Malibu? What?
And this was 20 years ago. Yeah. You tried it again.
Right. Yeah. So for sure. I mean, I think we do a ton of in-store product demos, and at least once or twice, during that 2 or 3 hour period, you'll have someone who says, "Oh, I really like this. I never, knew about this, or I always thought I hated this." And we're just changing,
Changing hearts and minds.
There you go. Every day, that's what we try to do. Bring a little bit of sunshine.
So you mentioned, I think it was you, Matt, who mentioned brandy earlier. What is the market for like fortified wines? Is that a fortified wine?
It's not a fortified wine. So brandy traditionally is made with grapes. If you're going to call it just straight brandy, that would be a grape product. And so we do have some brandy that we've distilled, and traditionally our brandy comes from local wineries. When they have like a fermentation that doesn't line up for what they're looking for, we'll take that product in, and we'll distill that wine then into grape brandy. Apple brandy is a product that similar to what Will made, I think, as a 12-year-old, where we take the apples, we crush them, and then we ferment that apple juice, we actually ferment on the whole apple. So, and then once that alcohol is created, right, the whole, the thing that we should probably touch on is like distillation isn't the creation of alcohol. Distillation is the separation of two fluids, one being alcohol and one being water. So all the alcohol creation happens during fermentation. Okay. Right, same way it happens for the winery, same way it happens for the brewery.
And that's first. That's
first, yeah. And so all Will and I do is separate fluids.
So it comes to you already fermented usually?
Not necessarily, right? Okay. So in the case of some of our spirits, with the case of like rums and whiskeys, we're doing those fermentations because that's important to the development of the spirit. In the case of some of the brandies that we make, the grape brandies especially, that's wine, which is fermented grape juice, that the winemaker was like, this doesn't taste the way I want it to taste. I'm going to send it down the drain.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wait a minute.
I'll pay you for it. Or you can.
I'll take it for free.
Cheapskate.
Yeah. And turn it into brandy and then put it in a barrel for, I don't know, they're 6, 7, 8 years old now. So.
Okay. And then what happens to that?
I don't know yet.
Oh, okay.
It's a great question.
TBD.
Well, we've served brandy at the bar at GrandTen. We've had brandy-based cocktails. As far as like brandy in a commercial product, the market for brandy isn't.
It's pretty low, right? I don't know.
It's very challenging, right? Yeah. Apple brandy, I feel like I can sell apple brandy, no problem. I tell a great story. We use Massachusetts apples. We crush them by hands. We use these farms, right? We bring it all in. When you drink apple brandy, you get like a hint at apple, and being someone from Massachusetts, everyone loves apples, so that works out great. As for brandy, I haven't solved that puzzle yet.
Do you source apples from Willis Farm?
No.
Do you buy anything from Willis Farm?
You should.
I know.
Really should. Yeah.
Well, I hear they have some delicious butter, so I'll keep an eye out for that.
For your butter liqueur.
Yeah.
Will, what do you source? What do you grow yourselves, and what do you guys source?
We grow a little bit of our corn.
Okay.
So the farm has about 60 cows, Pole Hereford beef cows. And we grow corn for them for the wintertime. We make corn silage. So they're about, we like to say like 90, 95% grass-fed, but we do feed them corn silage in the wintertime. And it's number 2 yellow dent corn.
That's field corn, right?
Yeah.
It's not sweet corn.
Yeah, exactly. Which is higher in starch, and it's great for distilling.
I didn't realize that. I would have thought you needed sweet corn to distill.
No.
But it creates the sugar, right, during the fermentation?
Correct. The starch is what we convert to sugar in the during the mashing period, and then the fermentation is when the yeast will eat the sugar that we create in the mash. So we do, it's not. We like to say it's not a significant portion of our corn, but it's an important portion of the corn we use. It's probably about 6 weeks worth of just about 20,000 pounds of corn that we harvest from my parents' place. We take a nominal amount of juniper berry for the gin, and then the other thing we do with the farm is we'll take our spent wash. So when you make rum, you're taking molasses and mixing and adding water and creating like what we call a wash. If you're making whiskey and you're mixing grain and water, you call it a mash. If it's rum, it's a wash. And actually, we have a fun video on our website where we are taking the spent wash out to the farm and feeding to the cows. And all the alcohol has been distilled out, so they're not getting drunk. But they love it. It's got some.
Is it sweet?
No, it's mostly it's kind of it's actually a little almost bitter.
Okay.
The sugars have all been converted to alcohol, and the alcohol's been taken out. So
okay.
But it's got it's nutrient rich, and so we'll do that. And that's the extent of the involvement with the farm. Everything else, the raw ingredients we source from ideally as close to home as possible. We get some grain from corn. Grain from Maine and upstate New York. It's milled locally in Taunton, Mass. Okay. So, I feel like people can get carried away and a little self-righteous about the whole local thing. For us, it's a feel-good story, but it's just cheaper. Yeah. So there's a real business motivation to try and get things as locally as possible. I
feel like the Northeast is probably a good spot to get a variety of.
It's pretty good. Stuff. I mean, Massachusetts isn't great, to be honest with you. Okay. I think we have friends in upstate New York who, there's farms everywhere.
Everywhere.
Yeah. So, they get their corn from a mile down the street. But yeah, it's not terrible for raw ingredients. It's things like glass and that we have to go really far afield. So we get our glass from Taiwan. There are real no domestic. Forget the Northeast. There's really no one domestically making glass. So that's a tough one.
How did the tariffs impact that? Has that been a problem?
Yeah, it's been a problem. To put it bluntly.
Yeah.
We actually moved our production out of China during his first term, and now we're stuck back in it with Taiwan. But it's what keeps it interesting and fun, I suppose. The small business ownership. It's never a dull day.
So you guys are kind of scientists. Like we're working with reactions and things.
There's definitely a heavy science component. Yeah. I would. My business partner is my brother, and he would quickly hit me on the head right now. He's the distiller. He's the scientist.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm the big picture guy.
Are you the scientist at GrandTen?
When we started, Spencer, my co-founder, was a scientist.
Okay.
And then he left the business. It became apparent that Merck paid better than being a craft distiller. And he had student loans and things, I guess, that needed to get paid off. So he went to do that. And so then that hat kind of fell to me. And so I do the best I can with the chemistry. I do have an engineering background, so
Okay.
I'm great at fixing stuff.
Yeah.
And so, right, I think both Will and I wear like a lot of hats, right?
Yeah.
Whether it's like a marketing hat, formulation hat, consumer insight hat, or like the janitor hat.
I was going to say janitor, yeah.
Yeah. Accounting hats, those constantly.
So how many folks do you employ?
I've got 17.
Okay.
Yep.
Mostly what roles?
Yeah, it's about 60% front of house, so
Okay.
the tasting room, and we got a wonderful team of bartenders, and then 40% production.
Okay.
Yep.
And
We're about 10.
okay.
Similar breakdown. We have 2 to 3 production guys, and then some sales, and then the rest of it's like the bar.
Okay.
Yes, I'm sorry, we have sales guys too. They'll kill me for not mentioning them. Very important.
They listen to podcasts too. 'Cause
I'm sure they
they're
do.
on
They're
the
a lot
road.
driving, yeah.
Right. How is the distribution? Is it easier because you're in a urban setting, or is it trickier? How many places are you in? Are you in restaurants and stores? Like, give me the breakdown of that.
Yeah, you're asking probably the most important question that you're going to ask today is distribution. And back to my earlier comment, if you can't sell it, then you're not going to stick around long. So distribution, both GrandTen and Bully Boy have the benefit in Massachusetts of an access to what's called a farmer distiller license. And there's a similar license on the brewery side. And all that means essentially the farmer is a little bit of a misleading. You don't have to be on a farm. You have to produce under a certain threshold of spirits. If you do that, you can self-distribute, and thereby cutting out the
Hefty distributor.
Yep, 25 to 30%
Yeah.
of margin, and then also more importantly, you're guaranteeing that you're going to get face time with the buyer. The reality though is a lot of the buyers really don't want to deal with a million different suppliers. They want to deal with like 3 or 4 different distributors. So to succeed, you really need to sign up with a distributor, and we do. And it's a constant battle to stay on their radar because they've got 1,000 products to try and sell, and you want to make sure that yours is at least in the top 20 or 30. So you got to hire your own people to go out there and tell the story and make sure that bar managers and store owners, managers are asking their salespeople for Bully Boy. We don't technically sell. We're there really just selling the story. We're not taking orders.
Okay. But they'll tell the distributor that
ideally, yeah.
John told me I should get Bully Boy, so then John will get credit.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep. John will get the commission.
How wide is your
distribution?
Yeah. How far are there also like government limits on how far you can distribute?
Yep. You can only you need an individual or a separate distributor relationship in every state. So you can sign up with XYZ distributor in Massachusetts, and they can sell in Massachusetts. But the second you go over the state lines to Rhode Island, you can have a different distributor.
Thanks.
And the different states have their different laws.
Yeah.
Right. So in the state of Connecticut, for example, you could have 4 different distributors doing the different states, doing the different part of the state.
Okay.
Right.
But you rely on the distributors to know the laws of that state is in terms of like where they can sell to or whatever.
A little bit. I mean, I think you need to be aware.
Yeah.
You can't just walk into it blindly. But at the same time, I don't know, we could do a whole podcast on.
I bet.
Yeah, for sure.
I bet.
Probably don't want to bore your listeners too much with it, but I mean, suffice to say that it's an art and a science, like everything we were talking about today. And you need to have a compelling elevator pitch. We do sort of quarterly meetings with these distributors, and guys, I love you, but you all have the attention span of a mosquito, so you got to like really sell them and make it sexy, and generally you got to put some money behind it, and the fate of your future really rests in their hands.
Yeah.
I think like, being an urban distillery versus like a rural distillery or a suburban distillery doesn't impact the distributor so much, right? They drive their trucks around and they'll pick up wherever, take it back to their warehouse, which is typically in like the cheapest warehouse part of the state or whatever makes the most sense for their trucks. The real benefit of like the urban distillery though is to take like some, here we are, we're manufacturing, and we're doing urban manufacturing, which is, I think, pretty rare in the United States. These days, I think a lot of the manufacturing that happens in the United States these days is always focused on where can I get space and employees that are the cheapest. For Will and I, with the urban distillery, half of it is the manufacturing, the other half of it is touching the consumer, right? And like offering a space where they can come in and get a cocktail and like see what's happening, come in and try the spirits, and being, especially with something like alcohol, where they don't need to drive and they can take public transportation, they can Lyfts and Ubers are plentiful, they can ride their bike, walk, right? To be that urban space is like paramount, because if I was out in the country where everyone's driving, then I have that social responsibility of being like, you really need to limit. Whereas now my responsibility level is less, when I know that they're coming in on a lift,
right,
versus they're not driving. Still, I'm not, we don't serve people to the point where they're blackout drunk.
Right.
We do tastes. We don't do shooters. There's no Jaeger bombs.
So what other offerings you mentioned, like people coming in to hang out? So do you do like private events? Do you do tours, tastings? Like, do you serve food?
Yeah, we do tastings. We do flights. We do tours. Tours are a big part of it. Private events. We have a space, that we try to do some private events in as well too. We do a little bit of food.
Okay.
Just stuff that was able to kind of be prepped behind the bar. Over the time, as our neighborhood has developed, right, we have May Dumplings is across the street, and so we have a great relationship with them, and so we're able to serve dumplings at our bar, and it's something that they're able to set up. The bartenders are able to serve that in addition to cocktails without having to break out into an additional kitchen space.
Would that be an additional license too?
No.
You don't think so?
Well, I already have my health food license because unlike the breweries, we have ice, and ice is considered a food in the city of Boston. So we already have to jump through the extra hoops.
For ice?
Yes.
Well, what other functions do you have? Yeah,
so the tasting room side of the business is about, depending on the year, between 15 and 18, 20% of the business. So it's a really important. And to Matt's point about being in the city, it's a huge branding opportunity. I think, it doesn't make distribution any easier, but it certainly makes getting the word out easier. We're just near a critical mass of people.
And you sell bottles on site, right? Okay.
Yeah, that's a big thing. So tours, tastings, events, all the above. Yoga classes, detox, retox. We do like a whole host of, the great thing about this space is it's concrete and steel, so it's pretty indestructible. And we love to try and create programming and get people to come out. I think it wasn't something as critical when we first opened in 2010. I don't think there was the expectation there'd be a spot you could go and visit. But over the years, the brick and mortar experience has been critical to the business, critical to, I think unless you have a place to visit, it's hard to grow your brand.
People want that more now too.
Yeah.
People are sick of being online, I think.
I hope you're right. I think you're right. I think that to be sort of see where the sausage is made is it lends an authenticity to the legitimacy of the product, and it's a real different point of differentiation. I mean, I think there's a million options on the shelves out there, and if you have been to the place where that one was made, you're probably going to be more likely to buy it.
You both mentioned the convenience of being in an urban location, but there's also obviously some pretty big drawbacks. So one of those I would imagine is that there's also a lot more competition for those people who are walking and taking public transit. What other things do you find as a distinctly urban distillery are challenges?
Logistics around just silly things like receiving deliveries. We're a couple blocks away from a school. If we have trucks that show up between 8 and 9 or 2 and 3, I mean,
they're in gridlock.
You have never seen such vitriol as these bus drivers, man. They're ruthless, and you're desperately trying to unload pallets of empty glass, and you're just getting honked at and yelled at. So I think that there are certainly, and then rent would be the other one. You're just paying a ton more. Our suburban brethren, I'm envious of their monthly rental bills are a fraction of what we pay here, but we've justified by, again, just that additional exposure. Yeah.
And Matt, that has really hit GrandTen, the rent side of things, pretty hard.
Facts.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So when I started GrandTen and we signed like our initial lease, I think it was like 7 years. It was 5 years, and then it was like a 3-year bump on it. And I was like, in 8 years, I'm going to be so big that this space is going to be not big enough. So I don't want to get locked into too long of a lease. But we have continued, and then we've, after that initial lease expired, we've signed extensions. And then when COVID hit, was right around the time when our last extension was, and it was favorable, right? We were able to say, listen, I don't know what you think's going to happen to the city of Boston, but no one's going out. We're making hand sanitizer right now, so and that kind of extension is wrapping up now. And so our most recent conversation with our landlord was that rent will be increasing significantly to catch up to market value. That's air quotes if you're listening to this in your car. And so, the problem is that their perceived market value is not the same as what our perceived market value for what that is. And so we're in the process of kind of wrapping up our time here on Dorchester Ave, and we'll be moving out to Western Massachusetts. I don't want to say temporarily. I think we're going to keep production going there, but we're going to be actively looking for a new location back in the city because it's so important. But I think we just need to take a minute and step out and get our production up and going again before we kind of launch back in here, and then see what that new space looks like, right?
Yeah. Do you anticipate having any production here, or will it be more of a tasting room?
I mean, I want to have some production, but I can't imagine. I don't know how Will's able to do it with 12,000 plus square feet in the city. That's intense.
It is intense.
And to really get a hold of what is it that the city and the residents of the city want in a space, right? We've seen in the city of Boston, we've seen so much. We've seen the adult putt place, the adult
F1
dart throwing place, the adult
ping pong,
whatever it is, right? Ping pong. And so I don't know. When I think back to when we started the distillery, I was like, we'll have a ping pong table and we'll have a dart board, and I probably didn't think we'd have putt, but so as we look to come back into Boston, I think we need to take a look and find a space that fits the industrial side of being a distillery, but still have the charm of someplace special that fits the GrandTen brand. So it's going to be challenging.
Sorry, we're losing you for a bit.
Yeah, we'll be back.
Yeah, definitely come back.
We'll do a pop-up here at Bully Boy.
There
Yeah.
you go. Love to have you.
What other challenges from the specifically urban side of it? Any like regulatory differences between here and Western Mass or suburbs?
Yeah. Well, I don't want to ruffle any feathers. Inspectional Services Department can be challenging. They've been actually great to us recently. I know when we first opened up, it was an education. Just we were the first one to do it in the city, and it was sort of like you would have thought we were making nuclear weapons. But they've been great. I think you pay high personal property taxes, and it's expensive. It's just expensive all the way around. Rent, taxes. It's not. But there are certainly benefits. They cut us a lot of breaks on being allowed to have a tasting room and things like that. They've been great about. So
let's talk about the benefits. So what are the benefits to the city of having places like this in the city limits, and why should we be encouraging more of this type of business?
Well, I think honestly, like it lends a lot to the spirit of the city. No pun intended. I think that we feel like we're a unique offering. To Matt's point, that urban manufacturing is something that is a dying breed, and frankly, we benefit so much from the brand of Boston. And I think a big part of that has been that there's a real authenticity to this town, and it's certainly a town that has persevered through ups and downs of various cycles, whether it's reinventing itself with different industries, and we like to embody that. I think that we're a place where people can come and enjoy themselves, and I don't know. Help me out, Matt.
I think you guys bring an element of cool to the city. Like, it's pretty cool that there's distilleries here.
Awesome, I'll take that.
I didn't mean you guys personally. I meant your company.
Okay, right. That's more like it.
Right. I mean, I think that's like a huge part of it, right? There's alcohol tourism, and Sam Adams obviously has a rich history, Harpoon, right? And these were kind of founding beer brands in the craft movement. And since then, I would say that like Trillium definitely benefited in the city.
Dorchester Brewing.
Back forth, yes, absolutely. And so to offer, the other side of that, which is like distillation and spirits, I know that we get a large amount of tourists that come through, and they're specifically looking to visit distilleries, and they've chosen Boston to visit the distilleries that are here in the city.
Because there's also Harborside, right? Or Boston Harbor Distillery.
Boston Harbor,
So there's three, right, in the same kind of area.
Yeah, there's one in Charlestown as well too.
Okay. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I mean, you talked, Matt, about the challenges before we started recording, the challenges of finding a building in the city that can fit this kind of operation. But the flip side is there's not a lot of things to do with buildings like this in the city. So having a distillery in them is a really great option to repurpose these old niche buildings.
Absolutely.
It's really interesting. All right, I've got 3 questions for you to end this.
Oh,
I've got 4 answers.
Okay, perfect.
I've got 1.
I want you to tell me what your favorite spirit is, what you would recommend to a person who came to visit your distillery, and what your favorite place to eat in Dorchester is. Matt, you go first.
I'm ready to go.
Yeah, I can
Give
tell.
Will a second here to think about it. Right, like it's tough as like a distiller and like a business founder to say like, what's your favorite spirit?
I guess maybe we can tweak that to like, what are you into right now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got it lined up for you. Here we
Okay.
go. So we have a gin that we barrel aged for 2.5 years, and it was aged in a sherry barrel, and it is something I think we bottled it at 102 proof. So it's got like some bite to it, but it has so many rich flavors in it. So it's got some of those sherry characteristics, some of that like dark fruit that it pulls in, but it's also a gin, which means that it has like a botanical side to it where it has some depth to that. It works great in cocktails. My current favorite cocktail with it is like a Saturn, which is a tiki cocktail.
Okay.
And like you think gin and tiki, it doesn't really work, but it does work. It really comes off great. And then we also have another cocktail that is no longer on our cocktail menu at the distillery, but it was like a variation of a bee's knees made with that high proof gin that was barrel aged, which we call it Bad Girls Honey.
Nice.
Lyrical reference there. But if somebody comes into the distillery, it's tough for me to say like, hey, this is what I suggest, because it's going to be an instant conversation. Like, I don't want to say like, somebody walks in and they're really a bourbon, focused geek. I'm not going to be like, oh, you should try our cranberry liqueur, and vice versa. So it's an immediate conversation. And I try to like see, you have a key, and let me find the right keyhole that's going to fit that key to scratch that itch for you.
But you cautioned against like thinking that you don't like a certain spirit because you had it once and it didn't work.
It's all about conversation, right?
Okay.
You test the waters, and if someone comes in and they're like, oh, I can never drink gin again because of that Tanqueray that I got sick on. I'm like, okay. Like when you say never again, do you mean like never, never?
Or like never for a minute.
Right.
Yeah.
And then as far as like your third question, I think one of my favorite spots like still is Side Chick.
Oh, Side Chick is really good.
The fact that they're across the street from KFC, they're like, you think you guys know fried chicken?
I also love that all their chicken sandwiches are named after like cheating wives or cheating girlfriends or cheating husbands.
Right.
Yeah.
It's
very
right,
sassy.
and you look at the menu and you're like, oh, am I going to take it to the next level? Or is this going to be lunch and dinner or just lunch?
They also have like Cheetos in their chicken sandwiches.
Absolutely.
Which works.
Right?
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. So I just love like the moxie to be like, we're going to open up a chicken sandwich restaurant across the street from KFC. And we're going to say like, you just park on the street and run in and then just leave your car.
And it's going to be really good.
And it just builds up. Yeah.
Will, over to you.
What I'm into right now, we partnered up with a maple syrup producer, maybe like in March, April, I can't remember when. And they took, how did this work? They took we emptied a bourbon barrel, gave it to them. They filled it with maple syrup. They emptied their maple syrup. So they have like a bourbon barrel aged maple syrup, which they sell, which is delicious. My kids hated it, but it's great.
Yeah.
They gave the barrel back to us. We filled it back up with bourbon, and we finished some bourbon in this now maple, barrel that's now wet with maple syrup. So we're releasing that. I've had a previewed bottle of it, and it's unbelievable. So it's a maple bourbon.
I've actually had bourbon syrup, and it's quite good.
Yeah. I like it too. But I think the smoky oakiness, and it has a little bit of a boozy flavor to it. So the kids were like, these aren't the flapjacks I'm accustomed to. As far as what I'd recommend for anybody when they visit us is do a tour, because you get like 5 samples. Okay. So dealer's choice, you can figure out what you like on your own. I don't have to tell you.
Yeah.
We do you can sample some Amaro, obviously some bourbon. I think we might even have some unaged whiskey, some rum. So anyways, I would do that. And it's tough to beat a Rondo steak and cheese. Probably my favorite. I know that's a Matt.
You made one tech eye very happy.
Oh, nice. You guys were quiet. I didn't know. I was like, I had to screw that one up.
I mean, I would say you did.
That's what yeah. No, I would say the other benefit is that you can order for lunch. You can have half for lunch and probably have the other half for dinner. It's tough to get all, So that'd be the way I'd go.
I'll accept that answer. What are your hours, both of you, before we go?
We are open to the public Thursday through Sunday.
Yeah.
Thursday, Friday, Thursday, Friday, we're open from 5 to 10. Saturdays, 1 to 10. And Sundays, 1 to 6.
Okay.
We're open also Thursday through Sunday. Thursdays, 6 to 10. Fridays, 6 to midnight. Saturdays, 4 to midnight. And Sundays, 4 to 9 p.m.
Great. So people can do a tour. They can come to one, then the other,
There
hop
you go.
around.
Absolutely.
Highly encourage it. This is
Yeah.
a really cool space. I've been to GrandTen. It's also a really cool space.
Thank
so
you.
thanks so much to both of you. This is really interesting. We could have talked for a lot longer.
Well, we can do
We'll do
version
it-
2, chapter 2.
Part 2.
There you go.
Thanks so
Awesome.
much again for hosting, Will.
Thank you.
Dot Life is supported by The Record Company, Boston's leading provider of accessible music creation spaces. The Record Company is addressing the critical shortage of affordable creative space in our city, serving over 4,000 monthly users across 131 communities. They've preserved 47,000 square feet of professional studio and rehearsal space at rates 60 to 90% below market value, ensuring Boston's musicians have a place to create, regardless of economic means. But they're more than just affordable space. They're building career pathways through partnerships with Bunker Hill Community College, offering professional certification programs that lead to sustainable music careers. This vital work is at risk. As creative spaces continue to disappear across Boston, the Record Company needs community support to maintain these essential resources. Their Amplify Boston campaign directly funds space preservation and career development programs. Visit therecordcompany.org today. That's therecordco.org to donate, become a monthly supporter, or learn about partnership opportunities. Every contribution helps keep Boston's music ecosystem thriving. The Record Company, creating accessible pathways to music creation since 2010. Welcome back to Dot Life. For this week's Tiny Dot concert, I am joined by Karim. Hi.
Hello.
Nice to have you in the studio.
Nice. Thanks for having me.
I feel like you already know everybody in this building.
Well, I know a lot of people, not everybody, but probably most, or maybe like half.
Does that mean that you have recorded here before?
I have actually.
Okay.
I've recorded with Owen. He's over at like the Ugly Duck studio side.
Just down the hall here?
Yep.
Yep.
He engineered the song that I actually released like today.
Today? Dropping some exciting
well, technically,
news.
I uploaded it like 3 days ago because I was trying to like beat a deadline and it just didn't happen.
Are we going to hear that one tonight?
Actually, no, because it has a feature and it's acoustic and
You're just
it's
not
just
ready
like,
to do it live. Yeah, that's okay. That's cool.
Like I can't do it without the feature.
Okay. You sing?
I sing.
How long have you been singing?
I've been singing since I was a kid, but I grew up really shy and reserved.
I do not see that.
I'm still pretty shy and reserved, but like as an artist, you have to kind of just like thrust yourself out there.
You got to get through it, yeah.
Or you're just not gonna get nowhere. Like
Yeah.
that's just how it works.
You grew up in Boston.
Yes.
You're in Grove Hall now.
I am in Grove Hall. Yes. I am from Roxbury. I grew up in Roxbury. I moved when I was about, I want to say like 10. It was like 2000, I think 5 or 6 summer. I literally cried like when we were moving.
Where'd you move to?
Pennsylvania.
Oh, I would cry.
And we
too.
drove all the
Yeah,
way there.
That's worth
so it
crying
was
over.
like 11, 12 hours. Like it was long and uncomfortable.
What part of Pennsylvania?
This like town that really nobody knows about is called Aliquippa. It was named after a Native American queen.
Okay.
Do you know it?
He's a Penn State grad, so.
Okay.
yeah.
See, you know what's crazy? This is the 4th person this year who has known about Aliquippa, and
So
nobody
it's becoming
ever
known.
knows about because like it's a really small town. It's like literally.
Is it right in the
you
middle?
can fit Aliquippa inside Roxbury probably 4 or 5 times. Like it's that small. Like you can drive through the entire town in like 10 minutes.
Wow. Is it in the middle of the state? Like
It's like I don't even really know exactly where it's at on the map.
that was a different experience than living in Boston.
Oh
That was
yeah,
quite a shift.
Definitely.
Yeah.
It was very, very different, drastically different.
Did you like
obviously,
it?
I was
Did you
like-
get to like it over time?
I guess I got to kind of adapt, I guess. I wouldn't really say like I didn't really have a choice. I was a kid.
Yeah.
And it was just that. It was like, so it's maybe like 30, 45 minutes away from Pittsburgh. So like it's like rural. Yeah. Basically.
Definitely.
And then like the city is like a hour away almost. And the public transportation is like non-existent.
Right.
You'll get like one bus an hour. So it's like if you miss it, you might as well call out. Because they didn't even have Uber and Lyft until a few years ago either. Right. So yeah, like there were no headquarters there. So it's like, how are we gonna even, do this?
So you came back to Boston as soon as you could.
Yeah. Well, I moved back with my mom, like the end of 2014.
Oh, me too. Hey, 11 years ago.
Yeah. It was literally like maybe like 3 or 4 days before Thanksgiving. So like we were coming back to family and like we stayed with my cousin for a while until we got our own place. And like we've been there since. But like, yeah, it's been like great to like be able to come back home. Yeah. Because there was really no opportunity there either. Like it's a dead zone. It's like a black hole. It's like it's nothing there. Like they produce like football players. So like you might know someone in the NFL that's from there. But like
I know Damar Hamlin is from McKees Rock, which is near Pittsburgh.
It's
close,
like,
right? Yeah. Okay. But also I don't think he describes it as like a booming metropolis.
Right. Because it's like damn near rural.
Yeah. So how did that?
I don't know. I haven't actually been to like McKees, so I don't know like exactly how it is over there. Like the difference between. But I'm pretty sure it can't be that different.
I think a lot of that whole area around Pittsburgh is pretty similar. Like
the whole like Beaver County area is just like Ambridge, all that. Yeah. Hopewell is just very like small town vibes. Yeah. Like
so how did that either stymie or inspire you artistically?
I think I would say that I had a lot of days in isolation because obviously I'm in a new environment. I don't really have any friends, so like I would listen to like hours and hours and hours and hours and hours of like music. I would watch like just binge watch music videos all day, and like when I wasn't watching like cartoons or something.
What was your go-to? Like, did you have favorite artists that inspired you?
Well, yeah, but also I had like stations that I would watch like a lot for like a long time, or like when on demand became a thing, it was just like, yeah, I'm gonna play this video over and over and over. Try to learn some choreo, like
So who were the standouts that you really like?
Growing up, I really liked Beyonce. Like, just I really love Beyonce. Yeah. Like her artistry and like how like each album is like different, but also like just very good. And she doesn't box herself in. She's done literally every genre, like from rap, gospel, pop, like rock,
country, like recently,
literally, and opera, like jazz, like everything, like literally everything. She raps, she dances, she sings live, mic on, and like vocals on key, not out of breath, and that's the standard for me. Like that's the standard.
So that's your bar. I think you're gonna have a hard time hitting.
That is my bar. I don't think anyone like living in our lifetime will ever get that great. Like I don't even think it's like really possible. Like especially with the lack of like artist development now, like nobody even really tries for real. And then it's like, just gonna throw some auto-tune on that,
right? Exactly.
And we could fix that with Melodyne. You don't have to redo a take. Like
you don't have to sing live.
You don't have to ear train. It's like you don't have to get better at singing. Like you don't have to like be good at your craft that you want to make a living off of. Like that's weird to me.
It is weird.
But yeah, I loved like Erykah Badu. I grew up on like Miseducation of Lauryn Hill, Baduism, Cameo, Brian McKnight. My mom is like, she was like obsessed. She had like, all the albums. My mom's
giving me like high school dance vibes right now.
Yeah, my mom's also like very eclectic. So I think some of her like her tastes rubbed off on me, and then like even like style of dressing and like how she would like furnish the home and stuff, and like just seeing like different patterns and textures, and we would watch like HGTV together a lot,
Nice.
and like home like renovations and things like that.
But you said, because I asked you before we started recording what you consider your genre, and you said you don't like to be boxed in, and I can see why with those inspirations you feel that way.
Yeah, and it's like also like I grew up on like, you know, like the top 40. So everyone grew up on the top 40.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like there's the punk pop, and then there's like the pop, and then there's the the rock pop, and then there's like the R&B pop, and then there's like the hip hop, and
And you liked it all.
so yeah, I liked it all.
Yeah.
And like I've never ever really like turned my nose up at any genre. Like I think a lot of people shit on country music a lot because they just can't relate, I guess.
Some of it's
but
bad.
I think it's also just like the perception of like what country is what like people are really confused about, because it's been like, you know, just like washed out like
Right.
over history,
Right.
like a lot of things over time. But like when you listen to like the roots of it, like the foundation, where it started, where it's from, and it, like you compare that to like what's on the radio now, it's completely different.
100% different.
Like
Yeah.
the instrumentation, like the vocal ability, and just like everything is just
Even
so
like the
different.
content is so much dumber than it used to
Dumber
be.
and also just like cliche.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
you don't have to sing about like pickup trucks and shit. And
or like whiskey. It's always about
yeah,
whiskey.
it's always whiskey
Yeah.
and like it's
Yeah.
just like we don't have to do that.
Right.
Like
Right.
you can make like a blues like country song.
Yeah.
Like it can be like meaningful and thoughtful and not just like the
Silly
the archetype
commercial,
or like
yeah.
like the stereotypical. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I love folk music as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's this song called Big Jet Plane by Julia and Angus. I think that's the name of the duo. It's like this very like folky, like just low key chill song. They're not the best vocalists, but it's just like a really fucking good song.
Yeah.
It's like you don't always have to be like an amazing like singer to be like to convey your message.
Right. I mean, look at like Bob Dylan or Jerry Garcia, like terrible voices, but like such incredible musicians.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what are we going to hear from you today?
Today, I'm gonna do something that's unreleased.
Ooh.
Because I just feel like I want to like get that out.
Do you write your own music?
All of it.
Good.
100%.
Cool.
The only time there's like other writing credits is if it's a feature. That literally that's it. Like I like to do mostly like original music, like not like sampling. There are like a few songs like from the 70s that I want to like kind of like chop up and like do some things with. But like production wise, I really like to keep it like original and fresh. I don't like to do like I don't have a sound. Like
Okay.
I don't have a sound. I think vocally I have a sound, but like sonically I don't really have a sound because I'm not going for a sound.
You don't want to
I don't want
limit yourself.
a sound. Like yeah. Because I feel like for one, like you said, it's limiting. And it's like people are gonna like expect things from you when you just keep doing the same thing over and over, one trick pony.
Yeah.
And I sing, I dance, I rap, I act, I model, I design clothing. So it's like I'm not gonna just do one thing
Right.
ever. I'm always doing all of the things, and I showcase all of that like on my social media and like YouTube and things like that. Like,
Are you wearing one of your designs?
well, my earrings, yeah.
Oh, very pretty. I like those.
And I don't know if you know Nuernberger, but he's a vocalist, amazing singer songwriter. He got his start singing in background for Erykah Badu, which he still sings for. But he's like doing his like solo thing. He's on tour right now. But his Tiny Desk, amazing. They're like dressed up as like the Proud Family characters.
Okay.
And he's like wearing my earrings because I met him at the Sinclair
Oh, nice.
at his like meet and greet
Okay.
after he performed. Best live show I've ever seen in my entire life.
Okay.
Like literally the best live show I've ever seen
That's
from
cool.
any artist ever.
The Sinclair is a great space.
Yeah. Like my number one like artist that I want to experience live is Beyonce. Obviously I've already said that's my goal. That's the bar, the standard. But yeah, like other than like that, like Duran he was definitely the best artist I've ever seen live.
Nice.
He does a lot of moving around, and like his range is crazy, and like he just has never missed a note. Like, like you can't find it out there. It's you can search.
He's always on point.
Like, yeah.
Yeah. So where do you perform, and where can people find more about your music?
Well, I perform at a lot of like local spots, but my music is on every streaming platform that exists.
Okay.
And I have like a secret SoundCloud.
A secret SoundCloud. You're not gonna get fans that way if it's secret.
I know, but it's kind of like it's an alias, and I just kind of want like the people who figure it out to figure it out.
Okay. Ooh, there you go.
Yeah. So it's like
Viewers.
if y'all out there, you know, if you see some clouds, some cartoon clouds,
Drop a comment on this
that'll
YouTube.
that'll be me. I'm not gonna give up the name because it'll be like
That'll be too easy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't do that. Cool. Can we hear you perform now?
now.
Yeah.
Sure.
Let's do it.
This first song is called Slide. Available as a SoundCloud demo right now. Did you go slide tonight? Say did you go slide tonight? Slide, slide tonight. Is you gon' slide tonight? Said is you gon' slide tonight? Slide, slide tonight. Tell me how you need it, baby. Do you wanna make love? Or should I just beat it, baby? Tell me where to touch. Off top, you know this ain't no ordinary love. We can go until the moon is the sun. Ecstasy is just the right way. All you gotta do is just say, tell me, baby, are you down to ride? All you gotta do is just say, tell me, baby, are you down to ride? Is you gon' slide? Is you gon' slide? Is you gon' slide? Slide. Said, is you gon' slide? Is you gon' slide tonight? Whoa, because I fit you in my schedule so we can get sexual. Cause it's a 2:15 and I need you tonight, night. Because I don't either. Just putting it on the floor. Just throwing it into the ether. I don't even want you back. Finally I can say that. And I really mean it this time. Finally got my peace of mind. Let me dial it back before I say something I'll regret, cause I don't wanna. Let me dial it back before I say something I'll regret, cause I don't wanna. No. Let me dial it back before I say something I'll regret, cause I don't wanna. Let me dial it back before I say something I'll regret, cause I don't wanna. No, you've crossed the line, but I'm doing fine with you off my mind. You crossed the line, but I'm doing fine with you off my mind. Not with the second chances, 'cause you know what you did the first time. No more dirty dancing or hearing shit through the grapevine. I ain't going back and forth. Save that for the other guys. You must have really gone and lost your mind. I don't even want you back. Finally I can't say that, and I really mean it this time. Let me tell it back before I say something I'll regret, 'cause I don't wanna. Let me tell it back before I say something I'll regret, 'cause I don't wanna. No. Let me tell it back before I say I'll regret, 'cause I don't wanna. No. Let me tell it back before I say something I'll regret, 'cause I don't wanna. You've crossed the line, but I'm doing fine with you off my mind. Can you live with loving me for life? You have been gone forever. That one again is called Dial It Back. It's also available on my SoundCloud. This one is called Complicated, unreleased. It shouldn't have to be so complicated, but it is, and it be. More often than not, I feel jaded. This ain't for the weak, no it ain't, I swear, I swear. No it ain't, I swear, I swear. Though at times life isn't fair, there's always worse to compare, or so they say. Does that make it okay? Fuck all that noise. Just tell me what's good. Tell me what's good. Tell me what's, tell me what's good. Tell me what's good. Tell me what's good, good, good. Tell me what's 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 good, good, good. Tell me what's good. Why do I feel boxed in so often? Why am I so damn exhausted? Gotta start weighing my options. Stop avoiding obligations, feeding into temptation. I'm aware of my ways. Does that make it okay? I know that I can't keep blocking my own lane. Tell me what's good. Tell me what's good. Tell me what's good. Tell me what's It don't always have to be so complex. 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 It don't always have to be so complex, so complicated. This last song I'm gonna do is called Clench. It is also unreleased. Yeah.
Is in the
always come, better days 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 always come.
Thank you for listening to Dot Life, which is available on Spotify, YouTube, and Apple Podcasts. Dot Life is produced and edited by me, Erin Caldwell. Technical support is provided by Yasser Mahmood. Additional support is provided by the Dorchester Reporter and the Record Company. Thanks to Seth Daniel, Willis, Matt Nuernberger, and Karim for joining this week's show. Thank you for listening, and we'd love it if you could share, subscribe, rate, and review the pod wherever you listen. If you're interested in supporting the podcast, visit .lifepod.com for more information.